First of all, as Mindy said, my name is Stacy Collins, and I have the honor and privilege to be the Spirit Groups program leader at Unity of Houston. And I want to just quickly express my deep and sincere gratitude for Mindy, not only for inviting me to be able to share today, but for this infrastructure, for this program. I don't know, there's not enough big enough word for it. What is the Spirit Groups program? And for all the love and energy that went into creating this summit. No pandemic's not going to stop us from meeting together with our Spirit Group family. So I love that. And I also want to quickly thank the guy that you just heard from. If this happens to be your first time hearing Reverend Michael Gott, you probably are in love with him and you feel like you've known and loved him forever. That's just one of the many gifts that he has. And also Reverend Karen Tudor, who you'll hear from in just a minute. She is absolutely amazing, and that's in all capital letters with about 47 exclamation points. I love her so much. And one of the things I'm so thankful for about both of them, not just how they are my mentors and I love them deeply, but that they had the vision and just good sense to see that this program is exactly what our community was asking for and that would feed and nurture our community. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my Spirit Groups journey, but I want to quickly go back to my first day at a New Thought Church at Unity of Houston. And my experience there was that it was my first case of what I call spiritual fireworks. And I know everybody can probably remember where they were when they first heard a New Thought message, and just the freedom and inspiration and excitement I had with that. And I left the church on a high, and I got in my car and drove home, and nobody was quite as excited when I got home to hear as excited as I was. And then as the weeks went on, people were so friendly and very huggy, very huggy. I had not experienced the level of hugginess that I did. But although everybody was friendly and I loved it, I wasn't experiencing connection on that deep level that I was looking for. So fast forward to the summer of fall 2018, as a staff, we were looking at launching a 7-week spiritual deepening program in the fall. And so we were kind of putting together the teams, how's this going to work? And that's the first time I heard the word Spirit Groups. And Spirit Groups were to be a component of this deep spiritual deepening program. And so one of the teams that you could sign up for was called the Small Group Logistics Team. And I thought, well, that sounds fun. I'll sign up for that. And as we were working on it, and I was getting to be connected with so many of our community members, and I saw how enthusiastic they were about the idea of this, I was like, this is really cool. Okay, people are going to make friends. They get together. They talk about spiritual stuff, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I get it. It's cool. I wish we would have had this when I came. And although I got it, I didn't really get it, because what I've come to understand, and Michael, you started now, I'm going to cry, over the last couple of years, is that it's like Mindy said, this is about connection, yes. But it's this infrastructure, it's this circuitry of firing points of connection, allows people to minister to one another. And it really allows people to experience community. And for some people, it's the first time in their lives they've really been able to experience that. So I'm just so grateful. So I'm not just a Spirit Groups program leader. I am in a Spirit Group. Actually, I'm in 2. And I want to just share. There's so many things I could share, wonderful experiences, but I just want to share 2 today. And one was about 6 months ago, I received an email from somebody that I didn't know. And it said, hi, you don't know me, but I think you must be really good friends with my mom. I live in Chicago, and my mother, Evelyn, she's had a major stroke. And I know she loves her church, but I wasn't sure the names of her friends or how to get in touch with them. But I can tell from your messages and messages from some other ladies that are on this email thread that you must really love my mother. And we did. Well, the group, and what I saw from our group, they rallied around our dear Evelyn. They went to see her in the rehab center. They supported her daughter in this whole trying to transition Evelyn back to Chicago. We made sure she had our Unity of Houston app when she went back so she could listen to our meditations. And we were still able to send cards and letters to her to let her know that we love her. So that was profound to me, that this person who didn't know us, that's how she was able to see who her mother was connected to, was from our group. And then I've been having these great experiences. And then last Monday, something happened that I don't think I'll ever forget. And that is, we had our group, and I knew in this time, I thought, well, I was going to do some silly check-in question. We're kind of in between curriculums right now. And I said, let's just, I just want to hear where people are at. And in my group, we have two beautiful African-American women, one of whom has a son who was 12 years old. And they were quiet. They were quiet that night. Other people were talking, but they were kind of quiet. And then finally, it got quiet long enough. And one of them spoke up and shared what she's experiencing in the aftermath of the death of George Floyd as a young Black woman. And then the other Black woman shared that what she's experiencing as a mother of a 12-year-old son right now. And it was one of the most heartbreaking and heart-opening experiences and conversations that I've been in my life. And what I know about it is that never could have happened. That conversation never could have happened, and it needed to happen. But it couldn't have if we hadn't laid that groundwork of vulnerability and authenticity in the weeks prior to that. So that's been one of the great gifts of my life. And so even though these experiences are used specifically applied to my groups, the themes are universal. The support, the being there for one another and challenges. I hear it every day, and it's just my honor to be able to see that. So that's some of what's been happening for me as being a member and a host of a spirit group. And now I just want to shift to what's happening that I see from my program director or program leader role. So 2019 was a year of growth for us, for our spirit groups. Last fall, we had 30 groups with nearly 300 signups. It was amazing. And one thing I realized right away is, yes, growth is wonderful, and it expands, the connection expands everything, but it also expands logistics, which is sometimes not so great. But I think what I've always seen with this program is that whether it's 5 groups or 50 groups, tracking is very important. And so it's one of those, there are a couple things about that are vital to me being able to be a successful program leader. And one is that I need a clear and easy way to track my group's attendance, host participation. Yes, numbers, what you put your awareness on does increase. So we're not obsessed with numbers. But one of the components about spirit groups is that groups can kind of take a hiatus and jump back in. And I need to be able to keep track of those people and keep inviting them, because they do tend to do that. And then the second thing is I need people to have the easiest possible way to sign up for a group. And if this can happen in one kind of package and making it as efficient as possible, so I can spend less time adminning and more time building relationship with my hosts and having my ear to the ground with what's happening in the groups, then even better. And I have to tell you, I found that with Group Vitals. And so I'm so excited. We'll probably talk about this a little bit later, but to collaborate with Mindy, Unity of Houston is going to be offering some support there with Group Vitals this year. And I'll be in both of the expo sessions if you have any specific questions about how the software works. But one of the main features that's really helped us, especially during this time of the pandemic, is the Group Finder feature. And that's been amazing. When we had our last launch, people from Canada joined our groups, people from all over the Houston area, which could be very broad, and people outside of Houston. So I really enjoyed it. So the other part of that, the technology piece, or admin, I guess, behind the scenes logistics, is the beauty of Zoom. And I know it might be a 4-letter word to some of you by now. And I've started calling myself a Zombie. That's when I turned into a Zoom zombie after too many meetings in one day. But the beauty of online groups is that it's really kept our community connected during the pandemic. And there was something about learning it all together that really bonded us. Our campus closed on, I believe, March 13th, and we were ending our winter spirit group session. And so our next session wasn't slated to begin until after Easter. But we just felt like, I talked to Reverend Michael and Reverend Karen. I said, I don't think we need to wait. And they said, no, let's see if we can just go ahead and get this started. So with the support of our amazing hosts, we were able to, within 2 weeks, get new groups, get old groups back going, train everybody on Zoom, and start a brand new curriculum. And when one of the hosts was telling me, she was a little reticent about trying Zoom, but she said to me, and she's such a lovely woman, she said, I'm not sure about Zoom, but I do know that my spirit group is vital to my well-being right now. So I'm going to do it. And they did it at their meeting, and they're going to continue to meet for our summer launch. So my goal for Unity of Houston in 2021, going from the rest of 2020 and going to 2021, is to continue to explore how we can use these powerful tools that we have with the group finder feature from Group Vitals and the online meeting platforms like Zoom to see where we can grow. Because my feeling is that by embracing this technology, we are taking the limits off of our growth for these programs. None of us can know when our campuses will be able to reopen permanently or when our people will feel safe to be in a physical space together. But I don't feel that that needs to preclude us sustaining our community or even growing it. I think we can do that through this. So I'm so excited to be on this journey with all of you. I appreciate that you let me share with you today. And I'm going to turn this over to that amazing Reverend Karen Tudor.